Hey everybody, welcome to the project I've got on the go at the moment. It's a high gloss surface polish, 200 square meters. I'm going to run you through a few of the processes, tips and tricks, repairs, bits and pieces that might help, and you get to see a little bit of what we do. Alright, to start with, I'm going to go with a wet 200 from Husqvarna. It's one of those things that you have to kind of look at the shine, the finish, the quality of the concrete to determine what resin you're going to start with, but we'll give that a whirl, see how it comes up and make some adjustments from there if we need to. So firstly, let me just show you what the old concrete used to look like. It does have a little bit of shine to it. It's you can't see it at the moment, but you can see all the tire marks, the stains, and obviously all of my foot traffic as I've been working along. There's a little bit to it, but essentially we start off with a wet polish, well, as you can see there. And once we vacuum it up, it looks something like this. There's a few different things to know. You can see these lines here, they're not meant to be there. I'll show you how to get rid of those. This is how it's meant to look before we apply hardener. Reasons for setting the speeds correctly so that you don't have a problem in the end in the finished product. What you've just been watching is the wet polish process. The idea is that we're taking the latency off the surface so the hardener can get into it. We can build the matrix up and get a much better looking floor in the end. In that other video you might have just seen, you will see that I'm actually doing a B cut quite quick over the concrete. And the reason for that is these dry spots, if I try to scrub that or vacuum that up, the slurry is quite stubborn, and if you don't get all the slurry off and you put your hardener down over the slurry, you'll actually see a different color or gloss or level of rejection. So it's important to make sure you get it off quick, or give it a B cut with a machine, or broom it just to get it all loose so it'll come off the floor. Okay, so now you've seen the wet polishing process. I'm back the next morning and it's all pretty much dry with the exception of the saw cuts, which the moisture tends to go into, and you see a bit of a dark line around it. That does dry out. To make sure that that doesn't stay wet for too long, you want to saw cut that, clean it, whatever, get all the debris out that's wet. But have a look at what it looks like now it's dry. As you can see here, I've gone back, I've cleaned up all those little swirl marks, just needed a second run over it. I went too quick with the machine. Over the saw cuts, around the saw cuts, you can see the dark lines where the moisture's been retained. That will dissipate, and then we'll see this polishing up shortly. Alright, so now you've seen the wet polishing process, we've seen it dry. We need to apply hardener, and the hardener is to stop it from dusting, to strengthen the surface, to help you with your polishing and get that gloss up. If you don't get that rejection quite right, then you end up with a bit more of a foggy finish. So here we're using the Husqvarna lithium product L. It's imperative to shake this up. It's a very cold morning, so I've got a diesel heater running. This is just to get the ambient temperature up, help the moisture release from the slab, help the hardener cure. So I'll show you shortly exactly how I apply it and what I'm looking for when I apply it. Alright, so now you can see the lithium has been applied. You can see the spots that are going to need a little bit more. Topped up some other areas that have dried up quite quick. That can be due to different mixes, porosity, airflow, existing moisture in the slab. So if you don't top those up and get to rejection, you end up with colour and gloss differences in those spots. So I'll come back in a little while once this is all dried and see how it looks. Now I did say I was going to show you the application of the hardener as I was polishing. I forgot. So essentially what you need to do is have a mist spray ahead of the machine, not too wet that it clogs the tooling, not too dry that it soaks in and then you get colour discoloration. And then the settings of the head is, the head's on the machine. You can't really pick one setting to suit all. It's temperature dependent, you need good airflow under the machine, You need to move through it at the right pace, the tooling can clean itself. So essentially, light application ahead, just to continue building that up to get that gloss that we've got back there, and move through it, checking behind it all the time that there's no excessively large swell marks, because they can be quite difficult to remove on a surface polish if you don't know what you're doing. Next up, I've got to run around all the perimeters, make them match what I've done with the body of the floor. That's all by hand polisher. Different resin pads for that too, so I can't really tell exactly what I'm going to use until I put it on the ground and then start going, see what results I get. And then I'm going to move on to bring it up to a high gloss level. So yeah, essentially I showed you some swirl marks earlier. I went back over that with a bit of water and the wet resins earlier, went back over that made it more uniform. The reason that happened was I was moving through it too quick. I might have altered the settings and didn't realise, and it's flown through, it's left some wet polished concrete, which once I went over that went away, it was a-okay. So yeah, on to bring up to high gloss, doing some edge work, and I'll bring you in on the next bit. Here you go, a bit of a peek at what the 200 gloss finish looks like. Pretty shiny, if you ask me. This is a 200 Superflex resin pad from Husqvarna. It's come up pretty well. Okay, so it's the next day now. Hand polishing's done. I brought up to high gloss, as you can see in those other videos, with a combination of diamond impregnated pads similar to this, but it's right up to 3000 now. There's multiple steps to 3000, but depending on the slab and how tight it is, it'll tell you. If you go to the next step of diamond tooling and it starts swirling up, it means it's that tight that the profile is good enough to accept the following step diamond. So we're at a 3000. Last night I put the sealer on. That soaks into the surface, creates a protective barrier. I've got to keep that dry for 72 hours. And then the next bit is buffing it with these buff pads, and then it's done. Well, there you have it. You've now seen a brief overview of the Husqvarna surface polish process. Not only has our customer got a good looking floor, it's durable, easy to clean, easy to maintain. It's going to save them money over the long term too. If there's anything you want to see in an upcoming video, let us know in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.